And every time I talk, he's gonna do something like. So, we're probably gonna have to pause and try it again in a moment.
Bye.
Hey family, it's Danielle and I am back for round 2 of this video. Today I wanted to do a Tuesday chat and chat with you guys about how to support and check in on the strong people in your life. I will have timestamps because my intros can be long. And some of this you may not want to hear, so I will have timestamps down below so you can skip to the part that maybe you're here for or you want to see. As you guys can see in my little teaser clip, Trice was not having it the first time I tried to sit down and do this video. So we are back. I am outside on my patio. Hopefully we can get through this video without any interruptions. It is about 7 a.m. in the morning, so you can hear the birds chirping. Hopefully that's not a distraction, but more of like an ambiance to this video. But anyway, hello guys. Hi, how are you guys? How are you guys feeling? How is life? How is your summer going? Let me know in the comments down below how you guys have been and how you are feeling. Today, you guys, I wanted to do another sit down video about how to support and check in on the strong people in your life. So often we hear that buzz phrase, check in on your strong friend, make sure you're checking in on the strong people in your life. But I found most people, a lot of people, do not have practical ways on how to check in on their strong friends. Today I wanted to sit down and provide 6 ways that you can check in / support the strong people in your life. So if you're interested in learning how you can check in or support the strong people in your life, then stick around for the video. But before we jump into this video, if you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Danielle and I am the non-traditional mommy, and on this channel we do all things life. So if you find that you like it here, you find this video helpful, or you find that you just like my people and like our vibe, then we would love for you to stick around and join our family by hitting the subscribe button. To the rest of my non-traditional family, I say it all the time, I hope you guys know how much I mean it. I hope you feel it in your bones. I hope you feel it in your spirit that you are the MVPs, not only in my internet circle, in my world, but in your own personal circles, in your own world, your personal world. You guys are the MVPs, and I love you bunches. Thanks for hanging in there with me, you guys. So as I stated earlier, we are going to be talking about 6 ways that you can support / check on your strong friends. I want to stop and say right here, if you clicked on this video because you are searching for ways to get support, if you are looking for support, if you are feeling down and out, if you are in despair, if you are feeling hopeless, if you are feeling depressed and sad and you are in search for support or help, I'm going to pop the suicide prevention number on the screen. Please reach out to them. I want you to know that you deserve to feel heard, you deserve to feel supported, you deserve to feel loved, and trust me, you are important in someone's life. So stop right here, stop right now, call the number on the screen down below and get the support that you are needing. I also want to say, for those of you who are like, who is this girl and what are her credentials? Because, you know, for some people that matters. My background is marriage and family therapy. I have a master's in marriage and family therapy. I have a bachelor's in psychology. For a long time, I had a private practice where I did therapy and different things like that. I am a certified life coach. That is my educational and work background. On top of that, I am a mom of 12. I shared my journey with my last son through depression and anxiety and postpartum and how I struggled with those things. I have shared my journey numerous times on this channel with my own personal therapies and different things like that. So not only do I have the background in providing services, but I have also been on the backside of that in receiving services and having my own battles and struggles. So for those of you who care and you're like, we want to know, those are my credentials, that's my background. So now that we have that out of the way, let's start talking about some practical ways that you can check in on your strong friends. Okay, you guys, go grab your drinks. Y'all know how we do Tuesday chats around here. I am currently drinking coffee made with my lovely Nespresso, review coming soon. So go grab y'all drinks. Go grab your drinks. I'll try not to make this a long one, but it might be. Y'all know how I do. Y'all know how I do. The first thing I want to talk about is the idea of a strong friend, because what does that mean, right? What does a strong friend mean? In my mind, when you hear people say the strong friend, you're usually talking about a person that has a lot going on. They have multiple different things going on in their life. A lot of times it's the friend that we're like, girl, I don't know how you do it, or man, dude, I don't know how you do all of that, or whatever. It's usually the person you're looking at wondering how are they juggling all of these things in their life, yet they always seem put together. They're usually optimistic. They're usually happy. They're the ones when you call to check in, they're like, oh, I'm good. I'm fine. Everything is good. Everything is rocking and rolling. You know, they might say, oh, I had a bad day, but you know what? Tomorrow's going to be a better day. It's going to be good. We got this. I'm good over here. They're usually the ones that just seem very strong, like us other people, or other people would be like, man, that would break me, but they are like strong, like they just have it together and they're able to navigate rough patches very well, seemingly. And so that's usually the idea of a strong friend, the person you would least expect to have a mental break or to commit suicide or to do things that you just couldn't see them doing. And this whole idea of checking on your strong friend usually comes around a crisis. You know, somebody committed suicide, or they hurt somebody, or something happened, right? And then that's when people use this whole buzz phrase. And I say buzz phrase because I do think it is a buzz phrase. They say things like, check in on your strong friends. Let this plane go by. Okay, so usually, you know, the person that has committed suicide or tried to hurt themselves or hurt somebody else, people are usually saying, oh my God, I never would have thought. They seemed so happy. They had it put together. There were no signs. There were no clues. And of course not. That's what makes them the strong friend. And so thus the whole buzz phrase, check in on your strong people. Now, these are 6 ways that I personally feel you can check in on your strong friend. But of course, everybody is different. Everybody has different needs. Everybody has different things that are going to trigger them or to help them or to provide support for them. Leave in the comments one way that someone could check in on you or provide you support as a strong person. Checking in, I believe, is to do. It's an action. You have to do. You can't just call on the phone and say, hey, how you doing? You gotta provide action. So a lot of these ways are going to be support-based, action-based versus just a simple phone call. Number 1 is to do. It is to do something. It is to take something off of their to-do list, to provide some type of support. When you think of the strong people in your life, as we stated earlier, they usually have several different things going on where you're like, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it all. So because of that, you can take something off of their to-do list. You can do their laundry, you can wash their dishes, you can clean their house, you can hire somebody to clean their house, things like this. You can look at what's going on in their life and think about, how can I provide support? How can I take something off of their to-do list? What is a way that I can step in and provide them with support. And by doing this, you're ultimately going to be checking in on them. And I'll show you how all of that goes together in just a second. With this, you can't call them up and say, hey girl, can I come do your laundry for you? Or do you need me to do your laundry? Because chances are they're going to say, no, I got it. I'm good. Thanks for offering, but I'm good. You have to just do. You have to just take action. So show up at their house and be like, hey, I'm here. I'm going to do a load of your laundry. Show up with dinner for them. Hey, I made you dinner. Here's dinner for the next week, frozen dinners or whatever the case may be. But just take something off of their plate. Because what ends up happening, not always, but what could happen with that is you take their laundry, you do their laundry, or you clean their house, and that will then elicit a conversation from them. They may say to you, oh my God, thank you so much. My house was a disaster. I was getting so behind on my laundry. I've been so busy. I haven't had time. I've had so much going on. And now there is a conversation that is opened, a doorway, a path that is open for you to be able to check in and hear how they've been doing. You've provided an open pathway for the conversation versus if you would have just called and said, are you good? How can I support you? Do you need me to do your laundry? Because a strong friend is going to be like, no, I got it. But if you just do and take action, then that provides the opportunity for you to hear and see what is going on. And by see, you may show up to check in on them to clean their house and realize, oh my God, their house is a disaster. Or, oh my God, my strong friend hasn't got out of the bed in 3 days and I had no idea. Right? Because you're showing up with a plate of food or whatever it is to do an action, and now you're laying eyes and able to see for yourself what is actually going on. So I'll give you guys an example. I had a friend where I called her one day and was just telling her what was going on, what the situation was. And she said to me, you know what? I am going to take on this task. It wasn't a, do you need me? Can I? It was, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to provide this support for you. And here's how it's going to look. I initially was like, oh, you don't have to do that. But she pushed and I was like, thank you. We had another friend and he was like, I'm going to start doing leadership trainings for you guys. And we were like, are you sure? Like, you sure you want to do that? He was like, yes, I'm doing it. I'm doing it for y'all. And again, we were like, thank you. And what that has done is that has opened up the path and the doorway for us to share with these friends things that's going on in the business that is stressful for us, that is hard for us. When they call to check in, to be like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? We feel safer. We feel like we can share with them in those aspects because they're now kind of part of the business. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a burden because strong people don't want to feel like a burden. So it doesn't feel like a burden when we're sharing with them whatever woes or things that are going on with the business. So that's an example of what it could look like when you're checking in or providing support to your strong friend. So number one is to provide support by doing something. Number two kind of falls in line with number one. This one is a little more intimate, so I'm just going to say that. But number two is providing financial support to your strong friends. I know finances, touchy topic. People like to kind of stay out of that. And you might be thinking, my friend is good. They don't need financial support. That's the last thing they need. Again, strong friends seem to have it together. So you don't really know what they need. A strong friend isn't going to tell you that they're struggling financially, and they may be. So by providing financial support, I am talking about providing a gift, a donation, a surprise financial gift, just pouring into their lives in that way. That could be buying groceries for the week. That could be cash apping them out the blue, just a little gift. That could be, I don't know, paying their cell phone bill for the month if you can intercede that or do that. or any other bill for the month, any kind of way that you can provide a financial or monetary support to that friend. Again, a lot of times you don't really know the car. The birds and stuff are beautiful, but the other stuff, y'all, a lot of times you don't really know what that friend needs. And a lot of times you don't really know what that friend needs, and so by providing financial support, you may have done something and been a blessing for them and had no idea that you were a blessing for them. I'm a firm believer that when our hearts are in the right place, when our intentions are good, and when we really do want to fulfill a need, that the universe is going to provide us and guide us with what we can do for that person, what they need, rather it's laundry or again a monetary donation. The universe is going to place on our hearts what that friend needs. And so a lot of times with this type of check-in or support, you may cash app them $100 and they may say, oh my gosh, thank you, I had no idea how I was going to put gas in my car this week. Again, opening up that door and that line of communication, letting them know, hey, I'm not here to judge you. I love you. I'm going to support you however I can support you. And so again, just providing that type of support and checking in on them, coming over with groceries. Hey, I bought you groceries for this week. Here you go. How you doing? How's life? How have you been? Things like that. And it could be that they say to you, girl, it's been hard. I had no idea how I was going to buy groceries. Like, this has been hard, whatever the case may be. When you think about suicide, there have been suicide cases where people have said, they were in a financial ruin or they were struggling financially and people didn't know. People in their life didn't know. Maybe family members might have known, but sometimes even family members have no idea or no clue that this thing was going on. Just pouring into your friends in ways that you may not think they need, but they may need. During the pandemic, being business owners, and we were shut down, we were closed. I'm not the kind of person that is going to ask for money because everybody was like, set up a GoFundMe for my employees, because I was really, really worried about keeping our employees paid. And so, but I was still feeling like, oh, I don't know, like I don't really want to do that. I ended up doing it, setting up the GoFundMe for our team members and helping to keep them paid, and wasn't paying ourselves. And I remember a friend sent us some money just out the blue. We didn't ask, they just gave it to us and was like, hey, here you go, this is a gift, I don't want this back. I don't know what y'all have going on over there, but I know your business is closed and I know you have kids and I know, you're trying to pay your employees. So this is a gift to you guys. How are you guys doing anyway? And again, that just provided the door and the opportunity for us to share and talk to them about what was going on at that particular time in our lives. We had people call and say, hey, how y'all doing? How y'all hanging in over there? And we were like, oh, we're good. We're just trying to navigate this whole thing, being shut down, whatever. But that particular person, it opened up the door for us to talk to them on a deeper level about what was going on. And I'm going to get to the whole communication part in just a minute, you guys. So number 2 is to provide financial support to the strong people in your life. Number 3, this one is the more cliche one that you probably hear all the time, but number 3 is to be present with your strong friends. Be present is to listen, is to hear them when they are talking, to be able to sit with them in their sadness, to be able to allow them a place to just be however they are feeling, whether it's sad, down, elated, whatever it is, that you can provide a space for them to be and are able to listen and hear them when you do call and check in on them. So with this, you guys, I know again, this one is the cliche one when you say listen and hear, but it's so, so important because typically, not always, strong friends are going to give you little nuggets. They may give you a little nugget and you have to be able to hear that nugget and catch that nugget. An example would be, hey, how you doing? And they could say, oh, the kids are driving me crazy, but you know, it's all good. Such is life. Tomorrow will be a better day. That was a nugget. And if you were unable to hear that, to be able to say, hey, wait, let's circle back. How are you doing? Like, what's going on with the kids? What's going on in life? And be able to go deeper into that conversation with them, to be able to hear that. That also was a nugget on how you could provide support. If they're saying the kids are driving them crazy, you can go get the kids. Hey, I'm coming to get them this weekend, or I'm coming over, I'm going to play with them while you clean the house, or whatever it is. It gives you an opportunity to not only hear what type of support they need, but also to go deeper on your check-in with them. A lot of times what will happen, this is such a hard one. It's you know, the one that's said a lot, but it's the hardest one for people to do. A lot of times what people will do is when you're checking in and the person is saying, oh, you know, my boss is driving me crazy, or work has been so hard, people will try to relate or try to bring them out of that state. So a lot of times people will say, oh, you know, I understand, it's all good, you got this, girl, you're strong, you got this, you're gonna get through this is nothing. So they're trying to bring them out of that emotion, or they try to relate by saying, oh my gosh, I know my boss was driving me crazy the other day too. So what happens with that is a strong friend is going to back away. They're going to back out and they're going to let you have the conversation. They are going to allow you the space to now share your story, share what's ever going on with you, and provide you with that space and that support. So it's very important that when you're checking in on your strong people, that you provide them the space to share and to be vulnerable. Again, not wanting to pull them out of that emotion, being able to go to their house and just be there while they're sad. Just sit with them in their sadness. Sometimes people don't want to be fixed, you guys. They don't want to be fixed. They don't want you to try to make it better. They just want to be in that emotion. They just want to feel it, be sad, go through it. The next day is going to be a better day and a better day and a better day. And so they want to just be able to be sad. And sometimes they don't want to be sad alone, you know, being sad in somebody's presence. So if you're able to show up at their house, bottle of wine or orange juice or ice cream, chips, whatever it is, and say, hey, I'm here, I'm going to sit with you on the couch, and we are just going to be, and you could just cry or you could be sad. We don't have to talk, but I'm just going to be here with you, and we're going to get through this together, because better days are ahead. But right now, just be. So number 3 is to be able to be present, let them be sad, be able to hear what they are saying, give them the space to be vulnerable, allow them to be vulnerable in your space, and just listen. So that's number 3. Before we move on to number 4, I want to pause right here and I want to ask you again, what are some ways that you can be supported in your life? Leave in the comments below something that someone could do that could support you, whether it's virtually or in person. What would support look like for you if you needed support from somebody? How can somebody check in on you? For those who are here, that's like, I need ways to support this person. Leave it in the comments below for more ideas on how to check in or support a strong person in your life. Number 4. So you guys, I understand we live in a world of social media and the internet and cell phones and all of those things. And so it becomes very easy and convenient to just text or pop in on a DM or comment on a post and just say, hey, how you doing? You okay? Whatever. But number 4 is to check in personally, whether it is in person or an actual phone call. If you guys are miles and miles away from each other, you obviously can't just show up at their house to check in on them, but sometimes you have to actually pick up your phone and call that person to hear their voice, to be able to talk to them, to do your check-in. And number 4 is me preaching to myself, because y'all, I am so bad at this. I get caught up in my life. I get so busy. And so a lot of times I'll text my friends, hey, how you guys doing? I'm thinking about you. I love you. Our group chats and stuff like that. So I am very, very bad at this. This is me preaching to myself on this one. But sometimes you have to be physically present. So if you're local or you're able to, showing up at their house, hey, let's go get dinner. I'm here to take you to dinner. I want to see how you doing. How's life? How you been? Or actually getting on that telephone, calling them up and having a full conversation. If you can FaceTime, that's even better, because you're able to see them, you're able to see their face, you're able to read their body language, maybe even see a little bit of their space and what's going on, and kind of really get a feel for what's going on in their life. You have to be intentional. You have to make sure that you are setting aside the time to physically check in on your friends. So number 4 is being intentional. Number 5 is to stop expecting your strong friends to be strong. Stop expecting it. Allow them the space to not be strong. I think for society, saying that somebody is strong, you believe that's a compliment, like you're strong, you got this, like you're gonna get through this, you're a fighter. And that's all great and that's all true. But what that can then do is make that person feel like they need to be strong all the time. They have to be this perfectionist all the time. They can't allow themselves moments of vulnerability or weakness, because it goes against the grain of what people have told them they are and they should be, or whatever face they have put on. So we have to provide, again, a space for our strong friends to know you don't have to always be strong. When you look at all the different things that your strong friend has going on, yes, they're getting through it. Yes, they're navigating, but does that make it right? You can easily look at them and be like, look, girl, you got a lot going on. This is a lot for anybody. It is okay to not be okay. Like, it is okay if you are failing in some areas of your life. It is okay if you haven't bathed your kids in a week. Like, it's okay, because you have a lot going on. By saying that and letting them know, I'm not expecting you to be this superhero, brings down that guard, and that vulnerability can arise, and they can maybe say to you, thank God, because I haven't bathed the kids in a week. Can you bathe them for me? You know, that kind of thing, versus having that judgment or being like, oh my God, I never would have expected that you would do that. Like, you're the strong one. You know what I mean? Like, that's what people say, which that could be a little bit of shade in that kind of comment, but that is what people tend to do. When a strong person shows any type of vulnerability, they allow that little bit to seep out, people are usually like, oh, but you're strong, you got it, you know how to navigate, this ain't nothing for you, you're good, that kind of thing, or you're a superwoman, that kind of thing, versus being able to say, whoop, okay, what was that, it's okay if you don't have it together, like, let's talk about this, let's talk it through, because anybody can break. Like, nobody is 100% strong. So being able to allow them to not be strong. You know, for my daughter, she just finished algebra. Well, not just finished, but she finished algebra with 100%. Her grade was 100%. She had an A+. And while she was super, super excited about this, very proud of herself, and we were too, we said to her, hey, listen, we're proud of you. Like, that is great, but a C would have been okay too. A C would have been okay. And we're saying that to her, not in a way of saying, hey, don't reach or strive for these high goals, but in a way that it's okay to get a C too. Strive for this, but if you get a C, we're going to love you just the same. It's all going to be okay. Life will go on. Nothing is going to change, because what we don't want her to do is to be trying to get this perfection, and at the cost of her mental health, her physical health, her happiness or all of these things, because people will look at her and say, oh, she got this, she's strong, like she an A+ student, she can get through this, this is nothing, versus being like, hey, wait, what's going on? You're stressed out, you're tired, you're fatigued, like, we're not having that. It's okay to get a C. You don't always have to be at 100%. So being able to say that to your strong friend of like, hey, you don't have to be at 100% all the time. It's okay to be at a C in some areas. So stop expecting strong people to be strong. Number 6, and the final one, may also fall into this whole cliche category, but I feel is the most important one. And that is to just be kind. You guys, just be kind. I said this in my Instagram stories about the whole Roe versus Wade. And I'm saying this again in this video when it's about checking in on your strong people. You have to know how to be kind. You have to know how to not be judgmental. You have to know how to be able to listen without coming up with conclusions and persecuting them without even realize you're persecuting them, because you're not really being kind. With this whole Roe versus Wade thing, as I was stating earlier, when I was reading through the comments and things like that, I'm like, man, people are just not being kind. Everybody is more so just trying to push their agenda and state their debate in their place, versus taking a step back and being kind and listening to people's hearts and checking in on people. Like, how are you feeling about this verdict? And how is it affecting you? And share your heart with me, and just listening and being kind during this time. People tend to blurt out words or type out words and just spit out stuff and say stuff, and it's not kind. And what happens is a lot of times they're doing it to people who they feel are strong enough to handle it. We see it all the time with celebrities and people who live their life in the public. People will say stuff like, well, they're the ones sharing their life with the world, so they should be able to handle it. Or, she's strong enough, she can handle it. And it's like, no. Everybody is only strong to a point. People can only be strong to a point. Everybody at some point is going to break. Like, a tree branch is only strong to a point. So when we're out spilling out these words and we're saying these things to people that are hurtful or not kind, and then something happens, the world is like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought. Like, I never would have thought that they were so strong, or they were so happy, or they were so this. And it's like, well, were you kind though? Like, were people kind to them all the time? That kind of thing. You know, in moments like providing support or checking in on your friend, there has to be this level of kindness. And I'll give you guys an example of this. I had a friend who I love dearly, and I do not feel like she was being malice at all. But I remember we were talking, and this was her, you know, checking in on me, how you doing? And I remember sharing with her how life was hard at that time, that things were hard or difficult. And she said to me, well, you chose it. You chose this life. You chose to do that. And I was like, yeah, that's true, but that doesn't mean it's not hard. That doesn't mean that there isn't grief with that. There doesn't mean that I can't be sad about that. We all make choices, good, bad, or indifferent, and we're allowed to feel a certain way about our choices. Sometimes we make a choice that is good for us, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard for us, or it's not going to be scary, or it's not going to elicit some sadness in the end. And so to say to somebody, well, you chose it, that wasn't very kind. And again, I don't think she was being malice, but it just wasn't kind. You know what I mean? And so for your strong friend, you say something like that to them, what's going to happen? They're backing out. They're backing out. They're not going to share with you anymore. They're not going to be vulnerable with you. They're going to try to deal with stuff on their own, because they're telling themselves, well, I chose this life, or I chose this marriage, or I chose this situation. And they're going to try to navigate it on their own, which can cause despair and hopelessness and make them feel like a burden. and no way out. And all of these feelings is what can lead to things like suicide or hurting themselves and all of that. You just don't know what people have going on in their lives. You don't know what type of trauma they have. You don't know what type of triggers they have. And then you don't know if they're dealing with anxiety, depression, bipolar, all the different things that can be going on. And because you don't know, because they're your strong friend, the only thing you can do is be kind to that person, which in my mind is the easiest way to check in on somebody and the easiest way to show support. You know, with this whole Roe versus Wade, it's easy to celebrate, you know, your win if you sit on the side of pro-life and you're like super excited that this has happened. That's great. Be excited. You have every right to be excited. People have every right to celebrate their wins. But I think what people need to understand is with every win is a loss. That means somebody on the opposite side lost. And so you have to be able to hold your win and your celebration, be able to do that, but also show empathy and be kind to the people who lost, and being able to check in on them and say, hey, how you doing? How's this affecting you? How's this affecting your life? How can I be of support to you? What can I do in this time to help this be easier for you? What can I do? Very simple. Well, it seems simple to me. So just be kind. That's the final way that you can check in and support your strong friends. Be kind to them. Just because they're strong doesn't mean they can handle it. Be kind. Okay, you guys. All right, you guys. So there you have it. 6 practical ways to support the strong people in your life. If you are still here, thank you for hanging in there with me and sticking through this whole video. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below. If you are here again because you are searching for support, you are looking for support, you are seeking support, you are needing someone to help you in your moment of grief or sadness or despair, I'm going to pop the suicide prevention line on the screen again. Please reach out to them. Please reach out for support. You are valued. You are important. You deserve the support and the help, and you deserve to be heard. So please give them a call and reach out for that support that you are needing and deserving. If you've enjoyed this video and you found value, please give me a thumbs up. If you would like to stick around and join our family, I promise we are very, very supportive over here. We're supportive over here. Then hit the subscribe button and join my family. To the rest of my family, you guys, thank you, thank you, thank you. YouTube is not my job. It's not my business. This is an outlet for me. It is a safe space for me. And you guys showing up and watching these videos is a way that you're providing this strong mama with support. Like, that is how y'all support me. And that is how y'all check in on me. Those of you who check in on Instagram and see how I'm doing and all of those things. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is what makes you the MVPs. So I love you guys, and I will see y'all in the next one.